Hello and welcome. My name is Bubba Fabes and welcome here to my channel. Today's video is going to be how I edit my videos. A couple of you guys were asking about how I edit and the process because you guys want to start your own YouTube channels or maybe just make your own little video. So hopefully this will help you guys learn a little bit about my editing process and give you guys a couple tips and tricks to get you started. Now, a big note is I do not claim to be a professional editor. I'm not fantastic at it. I'm quite a beginner. I'm still learning, but I've learned a couple tips and tricks that will definitely get you guys started. So now to start off, the first thing you obviously need is video footage, and I'm not going to go into detail about how to get the video footage. Instead, I'm going to link you guys in the description a video made by another YouTuber, Jack Frags, who details it quite well and explains it really well, and I use the same process that he does. So I use two different recording softwares. I use OBS and I use Shadowplay. The reason I use two is if I know I'm recording and I'm going to be try hard trying to get footage, I'll make sure I have OBS recording, because through OBS or DxTory, you can get multiple channels, and this is an audio channel for your own microphone, an audio channel for the game, and an audio channel for TeamSpeak. This gives you more control over your videos and editing. It allows you to have more customization. Let's say somebody's rambling off about something that kind of draws the attention away from your video. You can just lower the TeamSpeak in the editor, completely cut him out from talking without ruining the gameplay audio or your own microphone audio. I also use Shadowplay because sometimes you're not always recording and you get something really good. It's always nice to get that Shadowplay, record the last 3 minutes, and file that awesome footage that you just got. So that's why I use two different recorders. Okay, so getting started, today we'll be doing just a regular montage with a soundtrack to it. When I get started, I just drag and drop all the footage that I want into the Sony Vegas editor, and then I just go through each one and I edit out all the boring parts, find out where the good parts is, just kind of cut them out, so I'm just left with pretty much all the footage that I just want to eventually edit together. So I'll go through the videos. When the action starts, I'll cut it, and then right after the action ends, I'll cut it again, and I'll just be left with the raw good footage. A rushing video, so we're going to stop it right here. I hit S. This basically cuts the video in half. As you can see, if I right click on this part in the video, S splits it. You can trim start or trim end it, but basically this is a bunch of dead space. I don't want it. Now I'm stuck with my action clip here, and then I want to find the ending.
No longer in your possession.
And well, I die. Fantastic. And that's where we want to end it. So we can also just find the end of the clip and just drag it to that spot there, and there we go. We have our little action shot here. So once you kind of get all the great action shots of your video, you can kind of put them all together, see what you have, and then kind of decide where you want to be placing them there. The next thing I'm going to talk about is kind of your transitions. So when you get all of your action clips, start setting them side by side, and now you want to kind of transition it to make it look a little bit better. So as you can see, I'm just going to quickly, over here on the left, I'm going to lower the audio of this entire line of audio. That way I don't have to just like lower down each individual clip, so you guys can hear me when I'm talking. Alright, so yeah, we have this action here. When the clip ends, is this going to like snap into this next one? So we want to make that look a little bit better, a little bit smoother. There's a few things we can do. So we're going to zoom in a little bit just with the scroll wheel. And two things we can do is, as you can see on this top right, we can do a fade in and a fade out. Now, for some reason, sometimes when you split a video and you have it right up next to another one, it's not going to let me fade out on this. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to just extend it a little bit, and then I'm going to trim end. And this, I don't know why, again, this is just some of the things that I've picked up along the way. This will now allow me to fade out that clip. So sometimes when you split it, it won't let you do that fade out, so just trim it to end your end clip there, your trim end, and that'll allow you to now do your fade. So again, boom, fade in, fade out. This will give us a little bit better of a transition. That's one quick little thing that you can do. Another option you have is we're going to extend this video a little bit more, and now we're going to just drag our video over top of this one, and now this will give us a different kind of fade in and out that's going to overlap each other, and I think that looks pretty good too. So that's just kind of two basic fade in and out. Now you can also get creative with your clips and how you kind of merge them from one to the other. If anyone's watched Macy J and some of his video editing, is what he'll do is the end of his first clip will match up to the beginning of his second clip. For example, is the end of his first clip, maybe he'll be breaching a door or entering into a window. Well, on his second clip is he'll start that video in the exact same action process, but he'll be on a different map, and it'll kind of mesh together seamlessly, like he's breaking in a window on house, but when he enters through the window, he'll be somewhere on consulate. So you can be creative and do stuff like that too. For me, I'm not super creative, so I just stick with the merge. Alright, so next thing I'm going to tell you guys about is when you have a long clip. So unlike before here where, you know, like I had a really quick clutch, it only takes a couple of seconds and it's all action, it's all very interesting. Well, sometimes maybe you have an ace, but sometimes that can take an entire length of a video. So a couple ways that you can deal with that is you don't want to just put up 3 minutes for one ace. People won't find that interesting because you just want kill after kill after kill. You want things to be interesting and intense. So two things you can do is, one, you can kind of cut out the boring parts, just have your kills and kind of mesh them together. That will cut out a lot of your dead time. And if you're just making a quick and short little video, that works great. Another option you have, and this one cuts out a little bit of the time but still keeps the immersion into your video. So what you can do is, and what I did here, is I cut to all my kills and I just kind of cut them out of my video. So you can see I have 1 kill here, 2 kills here, 1 kill here, and a kill at the end. And what I did was, now that they're split up, is I changed the speed of the video clips. So for this boring part here, is I just sped it up. When it got to my kill, I slowed that down. So in order to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the edge of this clip here. And normally if you just click on it, you can drag it. This will increase or decrease some time on the clip. But if we go to do the same thing and we hold down left control first, you'll see a little squiggly show up underneath and it says time stretch. This will allow us to quicken or reduce the speed of that clip. So going through the footage doing that by speeding up the slow and boring parts and slowing down during the kills, we can kind of reduce the time of the video while still making it interesting and keeping the flow of the kill streak. So you can see it's kind of boring, so I sped it up a little bit. Get up to more kills is where I slow it down, and it just flows a lot smoother. Alright, so now that we kind of have a bunch of our clips all put together, I'm going to start actually making the montage video. All these clips are pretty good now. They're all set, ready to just be transitioned. So we can start off with this first clip. Now this is all gonna be paired to music. So you can see in this next clip, I have the audio tracks, TeamSpeak and whatnot in my microphone.
In the room next to it, and he's got it covered.
In the montage that I'm just gonna be pairing with music, I don't really need this communication part. For other videos, if you're just going to be putting it up there and it's all like with your TeamSpeak and stuff, that can be very interesting. But since just one clip here is with TeamSpeak, it just kind of won't necessarily fit in with the rest. So I'm actually just going to turn down TeamSpeak. I'm going to turn off my microphone and just have my game. And since it's creating 3 other kind of random lines of track, I don't need it. I'm just going to get rid of them. So I'm going to unbind this audio track from this entire section. I'll click on it and click U. See, now this allows me to fully customize this one line. I'm going to delete it. I'm going to do the same with this. Hit U, drag it up, and then delete this bottom line here. Now I don't need those 2 anymore, and now we just have video and we just have. Alright, so now that I have pretty much all my clips all ready to go, I'm just going to start connecting them together and start doing the transitions between the videos. I'll kind of be looking over them a little bit to make sure they flow well, and as you kind of see in this one here, this is actually very boring at the beginning. I didn't kind of cut it quite where I wanted it to. No one needs to see me drone. That doesn't add to the video. It doesn't add to the clip and basically the end result in the clip. I just end up kind of breaking through the window, get kills, so I can cut that part out. As you can see, the video flows a little bit nicer now. It matches well with it. So now we got a whole bunch of little clips here together. So now here you can either select the first clip in there, hold shift, select the last clip that you want to move over. It'll kind of move it over as one, or you can hit D twice. It'll give you a selection tool. You can just create a square over everything that you want to select and move over, and that'll do the same for you. So we have this video in here. Make sure it flows well. We'll do the transition into this video. Alright, so now on this clip, I'm just going to show you that the beforehand clip where I was having that little drone action before my actual kills, that I deleted that part out. But you notice this one, it's still a little bit of time before my kills. I smoked and I planted the bomb. I think that still adds to the footage, so I'm going to keep it in there. But it's still a slow clip. It still kind of breaks the immersion. So I'm going to kind of do the same thing with this clip that I did with that kill streak. Is through the boring parts, I'm just going to speed it up. And then when it gets to the good parts, some of the kills, I'm just going to slow it down a little bit. And that'll keep the idea of the clip, the fact that I went in for a ninja defuse, as well as keeping my kills in there too. So that's what I'm going to do for there. Remember to just find the edge, hold that left control down, drag it to make the box smaller. That'll speed it up. And then fit everything together again. Now, as you can see, it seems really choppy when I play it through here, but once you render it, it'll smooth it out really nicely. It's just how videos come across to allow you to edit it. You can see I get a couple kills here, and then there's another dead space, which I think I'm actually going to speed up again here as I run back, just to speed up this video. So yeah, I'm going to edit that a little bit too. Set up. Take a look at what it looks like. Kill, we get our kill. Let's speed it up and finish it off. Alright, so dragging our next clip. This is alright. So we'll zoom in, elongate it a little bit so we can get that overlapping without missing out on any of the good action.
On your right, on your right. They're on it.
Now this clip is all action, so I don't have to worry about editing between it, slowing it down. It's a quick, short clip, shows a good clutch, so we're good with that. Dragging our next clip, see how it starts off. Okay, it's an ash rush. Do a transition. Oh, okay, so we over clipped on that one too much, so we'll make it longer. Shows the kill. We get the transition. Now this whole clip here seems it's good, but it's not necessarily going to pair with the rest of my video because it seems just a little bit slower compared to everything else. So I'm just going to actually make this entire video a little bit quicker. Instead of editing out just my kills, since it's just a fast-paced video to begin with, it's a rush video, I can just speed it up, make it a little bit more interesting. That way it'll still match the flow of the video. I don't have to like kind of cut into it. It's a fast-paced video, just gonna make it a little bit faster. Hopefully it'll match a little bit better with the rest of my footage. So I think that looks a lot better. That matches with the speed and the style of the montage I'm going for, and we're good to go. Alright, so now we're going to start getting into things a little bit more complicated, stuff that you can actually make the video yours, kind of customize it and adapt it to your YouTube style or the video style that you want to be going for. And the first example of that I'm going to use is, for example, here we have our knife in our footage right here, and let's say we want to kind of draw more attention to that. We want to spaz it up a little bit more. So one thing that we can do is I separated it from my footage so it's all by itself. Going to right click, we're going to copy that, and then we're going to paste it, and this is going to give us an exact replica of that footage. And now what we can do with this is I'm going to right click it again, and we can reverse that footage. So this will give us our knife. It'll stop, reverse for us, and then we can copy and we'll paste again, and this will finish us off with that last knife, leading us into the rest of that footage there. So you can work around with little things like that with your speed, reversing, just to make it a little bit more interesting for your footage. Next thing I'm going to show you is if we come over here to the left, we're going to right click on this and we're going to insert a new video track. And this is going to give us another layer of videos that we can insert images, more videos, or text that will go over top of whatever's below it. So it works the same way as any layers would in any program. So what I'm going to do to demonstrate this is going to go into pictures, going to grab my logo, I'm going to throw it on there. As you can see, it's above my footage. And we're going to stretch this out over the entire length of our video. We're going to create a little watermark. Now, we want to edit this. We're going to put it in this top right corner right here. In order to do that, you want to make sure you have your little start line, your little tab here, to be at the very beginning of your video. If you start by editing it when your tab's halfway through, it'll do a transition. So this first half, it'll be big in the middle of your screen, while it'll transition into moving to the top right over here. So we want it to be small in the right our entire time. Go over to this little tab here, Event Pan Crop. It'll bring up this window. Scroll back a little bit. We'll go into, we don't want to maintain aspect ratio. And then we're just going to make it small. And we're going to put it up in this top corner here as our little watermark. Now, as you can see, we have a watermark there for the entire part of our video. Now, it's pretty bold right now. We don't need it to be so bold, so we can lower the opacity of it, making it just a little more faded so it doesn't draw too much attention away. And you can see right there, we just have a watermark sitting there looking nice. So again, you can do that with kind of anything. You can add like extra little like derp or troll faces in there if that's the kind of footage you're going for. You can add words in there. So like at the end of our video, we can put in like a big thank you for watching. We can even add another track in here so it can overlay over top of our watermark. We'll right click, insert text media. As you can see, it gives us another little marker that we can stretch out. Here we're going to pre-pick our text, set it to 20. Thank you for watching. And as you can see, we can move that around, even though you can set this beforehand. You can still play around with the size of it. 20 was a little bit too big, so we'll move that down here. We can change the color of it to whatever we want. You can add animations by this little animations tab here. You can kind of check them out. So this one says bounce. So you see it kind of bounces in. Drop split. We'll try to see what that one looks like. So just like that. And you can just play around with that. There's a little bit more detail in here. I don't play around too much with text, so. But you can also see it has an animation time. So it might drop in again if you keep, so if you keep it too long, it'll continue with this text. So we want to stop that. So as soon as it's done, stop it. Oops. Using the arrow keys just to go back a couple frames. We only want it to play through once. So we'll end that there, put that at the end, and then we'll have our little text animation in there too. Alright, so last but not least, as we're finishing up our video, you can do the same thing with audio. You can add little audio cues in there, just again to more customize it, to make it yours, to make it more interesting. If you watch YouTubers like Chawboy or Ozzy the MLG Pro, They add little things like whenever they play a lot of Counter-Strike, whenever they get a kill, it's like a little ding, or whenever they die or something funny happens, it's like a fart or a balloon deflating, because they make more of a comic type video. So you can do things like that just to make it more customized, make it more yours, and make it different. As well as we're going to add our audio track onto here. When you're adding audio, it's important to remember that it's royalty free, especially if you're going to be monetizing it and you want to maybe collect money from it. If you throw up something that's not royalty free, you don't have the royalty access to, your video can be flagged, you won't get money for it, and even possibly your channel can be taken down if you get too many flags. So all you have to do is go on YouTube, just look up royalty free music. There's all sorts of it on there. I already have one picked out. This here. And if you're using clips from somebody, make sure that you give them credit in your video in the information section. If they have any links to maybe their Facebook, their YouTube, their Twitter, make sure you give all that access to them. They're nice enough to make an audio track for you guys to use for free, so make sure they get credit where credit is due. It's very important. It's just respect for in the business. So we have our audio here. It's going to be really loud as we start it. And we just want to kind of find a balance. We don't want it to be too overpowering. We're going to raise up our gun sound a little bit. Alright, before we get into post-production, I'm just going to do one more thing, and that was add a end slate onto my video. For those who haven't seen my other videos, end slates are basically just pictures that you can make. I use paint.net. It's a fantastic free program. Pretty in-depth tools for a nice little easy to use program. Basically, this just allows your viewers to get more interaction into your video when it's done. They can hit subscribe. You can just add little interactions when it's on YouTube. They can just click it and it'll direct them right there. Put in another video here. It'll direct you to your Twitter. Maybe you do Twitch, and it's a fantastic way, and I highly recommend putting one on the end of your video. So just how it works is, so you have a picture here, and what we're going to do is we're just going to go into our files, grab the working video, whatever relates to the end slate that you did. I'm not going to worry about that now, because when I render this video, I'm going to send the link to this editing video and vice versa, so people can find and do it that way. But I'm just going to show you an example. You can choose to keep or leave the audio. What you can do is you're going to line it up to the end. Make sure that your slider is at the beginning of the video, or else you get that partially edited transformation to wherever your slider was when you click the crop tool. Shrink it down. Move it around so it fits where you want it. A little bit big. Just like that. You can have it in there.
Are you tired?
And then you have an interactive end slate that you can customize and help interact with your viewers. So that's how you do that. Now I'm going to go more into post-production and how we do that. So first things first is I'm going to click, get rid of that. On the keyboard, I'm going to hit D twice. This is going to cycle me to a square box tool. And what we're going to do is we're just going to select our entire video footage. Doesn't really matter about the audio, but make sure you get all that video footage in there, and you're going to right click on it, go to switches, and disable resampling. You don't want resampling on. That'll mess up with your clips and stuff, and sometimes when you render it, it'll even render it just black, and you don't want that. So make sure you do that first. You can hit D twice, bring us back to the cursor tool, and we're going to get into adding little video effects to make your video pop out a little bit, brighten up some of the colors. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go into color corrector. You're going to grab default, and you're going to drag it onto your videos, and then you're going to slide this one up a little bit to the top left. Same with the mid, slide it up a little bit to the top left. The highs, we're going to slide it down to the bottom right, and then scroll down to saturation, and we're going to change that to 1.2. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to scroll down. We're going to add a little bit of sharpness to the video. Sharpen, same thing, default, grab and drag it over to this left section here. It'll add it to that entire row of footage. And we're going to add 0.50, and that'll just sharpen it just enough and make it look good, make a difference in the video. So that'll just add a little extra pop in your colors. It'll make it look a little bit nicer and just add extra quality to your video. Now finally we are ready to render our video, so I'm going to show you how to do that. We're going to go into File, Render As, and then I already have mine picked out, but I'll show you how to set up your own perfect render for YouTube and great quality. You're going to go to this first main concept, ACV, click on that, and you're going to scroll down till you find Internet HD 1080p, and you're going to want to customize it. In the customization options, you want it 1920 by 1080. We're going to main, profile is going to be main. Now frame rate, we want to change this to 60 frames per second, and we want to uncheck allow source to adjust frame rate. If you have that checked up, it will just switch you back down to 30. Next thing, pixel ratio is going to be the 1. Number of reference frames, the magic number is going to be 14, and use deblocking filter. Now your BPS, we're going to change this to 40 as a max, and then our minimum is going to be 30. Set that to that there. Number of splices is going to be 4, and enable progressive download. Audio, I don't really change anything in the audio. Some people do if they're worried about download size. Some people will actually like turn the bitrate down to like 96. They say it doesn't do anything, but I'm not worried about my download size, so I just leave it. System, you don't need to do anything there. And project, again, if you're not worried about size, go with best, but if not, set it to good, and that works pretty good too. And that's all the things I really do in my rendering settings, and then you're all set to go. You can just set render, set it to whatever. You can save your template as something, as I've already saved mine, and you're good to go. Well, I hope that this video was helpful to you guys, and I'm sorry that it was so long, but I didn't want to cut anything out because there might have been a little tip or trick that would have been missed, and I didn't want to deny you guys that knowledge. So if you guys let me know, what did you think of this video down below? Was it helpful? Do you have any more questions that maybe I completely blew past you guys? Leave that down below, and I'll do my best to try to answer your questions and help you guys out. Well, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, give me that thumbs up. And if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button because I do not want you to miss out on any other videos coming out. And until next time, my friends, I will see you later.